Hey booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. I am here today with a Friday Reads video. I did finish a book, yay! And I'm reading 3 other books right now. So, I have had a request for some Christmas footage. I love filming by the Christmas tree, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to do that this year. My husband is watching a horror movie right now, so it's just not really convenient to do that. But anyway, so I'm sorry I've been absent the last week, aside from this. So that will definitely not be the case in the week ahead. I am going to make some more videos. But again, I had a request for, like, I want to see, like, what does your Christmas tree look like? Some people don't put out a lot of Christmas decorations. Have some footage of that, and hopefully you've already seen it, or it will be at the end of the video. I made a couple of videos, gosh, maybe my first year in booktube, I'm not sure. They were ornament tours of my tree. One is of bookish ornaments, and the other one is ornaments from around the world. So I'll link to those down below, because yeah, I didn't get as many ornaments up on the tree this year, so it's a little bit spare, but it still brings me a lot of joy. That's why I put Christmas decorations out, is because they fill me with joy. I wanted to talk to you guys about the word cozy, Z-Y-S-Y, because I have really noticed a significant trend since I started booktube, and it could have just have been the channels that I was subscribing to, but this idea of cozy books, something that makes us feel cozy. I just have seen a real trend to talking about those kinds of books, and it's really shaken up my ideas about what I, like, previously, what I would have thought was a cozy, what I would consider a cozy book, especially having worked for 4.5 years, like, in a bookstore. So one of the things that's prompted this is there's an event coming up at the end of the month. It's the 12 days of Christmas and coziness. And that is being hosted by Ellie from the Cozy Chronicles, or My Cozy Chronicles. I apologize. I will link to her channel down below, as well as Gina from Gina's 10 Year Books. And I found it really interesting, like, the books that they're talking about on their channel as either like cozy recommendations or their TBRs for the event are not the kinds of things that previously I would have said, oh, that's a cozy book. Like, it's more, I mean, like a book you want to flip through. Maybe it's a cookbook even, or a lifestyle book. My interpretation previously has been that cozy books are the mass market paperbacks, sometimes featured in a wire rack at the end of an aisle. For a few years, I would have Jason take me to Target in December, and I would just buy a Christmas mass market paperback. I would consider that a cozy thing. Usually they were romance books. Sorry, the cat is going crazy over here. God. And then, like, cozy mysteries. When I worked in the bookstore, I read a few books, and I apologize, I don't remember the name of the series. Eventually there were a lot of these, but it was about a woman who was a chef for the White House, and she just got caught up in, you know, murders. But I think because she was a chef at the White House, I think the books included recipes maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'm misremembering that. But anyway, I think I read like 3 of them, and then I just found them really kind of predictable and flat, and yeah, like I just didn't want to, I felt like I had maybe read everything that that series had to offer. But there are other books like Miss Read, which I read my first Miss Read book last year. I read Village School. I found it completely charming. You know, the little old ladies and the young children and everyone in between. I just really enjoyed the characters. I don't know if I could say Village School had much of a plot. Maybe it was just, you know, a year in the life of a rural, you know, English school. But I thought it was great. And I do have another Miss Read book for later this month. That's No Holly for Miss Quinn. So my ideas about cozy have changed, but I really want to hear from you guys, like what you define as something that's cozy. And again, Gina and Ellie's channels have been featuring like their TBRs for their readathon that they're hosting, cozy recommendations. And I'm always a little caught off guard by some of the things they have. Like, okay, Agatha Christie, like I can kind of go along with that being like a cozy sort of thing. But some other things, you know, like graphic novels, cookbooks, lifestyle sort of books, I just in my mind, like I don't associate those as like, again, maybe it's more like they bring on a feeling of coziness, or yeah, I'm not sure, but I really want to hear from you guys what you think, like how you define what is a cozy, and what just is something that makes you feel cozy maybe. I really want to know what you guys think. All right, so what did I finish this week? The reason why I didn't film any videos this weekend is because I really did tear through this book, The Orchardist by Amanda Coplin. And when I say I tore through it, like I really wanted to know what was going to happen in the book. Even though I would consider this literary fiction, there is this sort of momentum and pace, and I was just really terrified, like, of what was going to happen in the end. I gave this book 4 stars on Goodreads. It's really more like 3.5 stars for me. And I felt like the way she described Talmadge, the main character, was excellent. Like I could see him so well in my mind, and I really liked the parts of the book that had to do with him and the orchard and just the landscape. You guys know how much I love it when I feel like the landscape is maybe part like a character in the book. There's another storyline in addition to Talmadge being in the orchard. There's this other storyline going on, and I was just like, wow, like Amanda Coplin is not afraid to go to some really dark places. Young women come into Talmadge's life when he's probably in his 40s, and he is a very kind person. I think he tends to think the best of people under most circumstances, not all. But yeah, one of the characters, one of those 2 female characters, I could never, ever get a bead on her. Like I never felt like I could picture her. And I don't know if that has to do with like that this is set in the first part of the 21st century, but it's still a really rural, isolated place. I'm not sure what it was, but for some reason, one of the main characters in the book, like I just never in my mind, like I never knew what she looked like. I just struggled with that a lot. And she's a really important character in the book. This, by the way, is a book that can easily be spoiled. So in the comment section, if you love The Orchardist, I would love to hear why. And if you didn't like it, I would also love to hear why. But I think I told Jo Smith in a previous video that I thought she should she should read this. I don't know if she has or not, but after finishing it, Joe, I'm not sure that I would give it 100% recommendation. Obviously, if this is a book that interests you, then you should check it out and not worry about what I think about it. But yeah, it was just like, wow, Amanda Coplin, like yeah, her mind. Like, there are beautiful landscapes in her mind, and there are also just like, wow, some really terrifying places in the world. So anyway, that's what I was doing all weekend long, was reading The Orchardist. But it was one of my high priority books for the year, so I feel really, really good. I'm really happy that I finished this. Just a few things that I wish that she had spent more time writing about, just to give us a better sense of some of the characters. So, okay, still reading The Christmas Mystery by Jostein Gaarder. This is translated from the Norwegian, and there's a little chapter every day. This is just such a charming, sweet book. Now, if you're not into the Nativity, if you're not into the scene at Bethlehem on December 25th, I totally understand. This is not the book for you. It is about a little boy who, well, in part, there's kind of two storylines. There's a little boy who, right before December 1st, like, is looking for an advent calendar and finds a forgotten one in a bookshop. And it doesn't have chocolates in it. It doesn't have little toys. It doesn't have bags of tea or jam jars or anything like that. It's just a little picture. And he, yeah, when he opens it the first day, a piece of paper falls out, and it's a little story. And so anyway, it continues on, and the story within the story is about a little girl. Her name is Elizabeth, and yeah, she is on this kind of adventure through the advent calendar. And so every day there's another image. You can see the pictures a little bit better on the back here. But yeah, so again, if you're not into the Nativity, I wouldn't recommend it, but otherwise it's super charming, very family friendly. I kind of got a little Scandinavian theme going on here. Alexandra from The Ritual of Reading is doing a whole Scandinavian advent calendar on her channel that is just amazing. I love it every day. But anyway, so this book is translated from the Swedish. This is the Saga of Gosta Berling by Selma Lagerlof, and it was translated by Paul Norland. And I have not gotten very far into this, so I'm not going to say much yet, but it feels like super appropriate time of year to be reading it. Although it does also compare it to Gone with the Wind. It says it's the Swedish Gone with the Wind on the back. So, which I read Gone with the Wind in January, so it feels, I don't know if it feels appropriate or not, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I'm gonna find this to be the Swedish Gone with the Wind, but we'll see. Withhold judgment. It's too early yet. But I've really liked what I've read so far. And finally, the Annotated Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. So I have started reading the introduction to this book. I haven't actually got to A Christmas Carol yet. I decided to read the introduction because I read A Christmas Carol every year, so nothing's going to be spoiled for me or anything like that. I love the story so much, and I don't want to go so far to say that it's my like favorite book of all time, but definitely it's the only book I return to every single year. So I was super excited. I got this earlier this year so that I could read it during the holidays. It's gigantic. And the introduction, like I said, I think is longer than A Christmas Carol is itself. But anyway, so the introduction, I've already learned like a lot about the illustrator, John Leach, and there's these beautiful color plates in the book. Dickens was very specific about what he wanted the book to look like, even the end papers of the book. So yeah, his influence had to do with like the cover and the gilt, the gold lining on the pages. But the introduction has been talking about not just the illustrations, but what was going on in Dickens' life when he, right before he was writing this. How was the book received? Not only through book reviews of the time, but also like letters that famous people were writing to each other about the book, and it really talks a lot about like what Christmas was like, especially in London, prior to the publication of A Christmas Carol. For a long time, I really struggled with the idea that this book could have really changed how we celebrate Christmas, but the person who wrote the introduction, Michael Patrick, I believe, Hearn, is kind of persuading me that no, actually A Christmas Carol had a major impact in how we celebrate Christmas. It really wasn't much of a fuss, especially in urban areas. Now, I get the sense that in the maybe more rural parts of the country that it was still an important day, but this book was kind of a turning point in how we celebrate Christmas now. So that's fascinating. Anyway, so I am learning a ton from the introduction, but I just want to get to the book. I just want to get to Marley Was Dead. So I will get there and I will tell you guys about it. Hopefully, next Friday when we chat, I will have the introduction done. Wouldn't that be great? That would be so great. Okay, BookTube. Well, as always, I look forward to your comments in the comment section down below. Not only about like cozy books and cozy feelings and that sort of thing, about the books I'm reading, the books you're reading. So I love hearing from all of you in the comment section. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, I understand. You can always leave an emoji, or you can give this video a thumbs up as a way to say hello. So I do really appreciate that as well. BookTube, remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.